Well, good morning, Glue Troopers. Max and Max's Models here. Actually, literally drinking my coffee while I'm making this. So, I got a little work done on the Aero Commander. I got it all filed and sanded and everything, and put some black acrylic on it that I had handy just to check the seams. And it looks like they're ready to go off to the paint shop. So, I'll tape those windows up and hit it with the primer today. And who knows, maybe we'll get it finished in the next couple of days. And while I was doing this, I was thinking about the video I did yesterday on the 148 scale monogram fighter planes that many of us built growing up. And I started thinking about their Pro-Modeler series. Now, I don't think I've ever actually built one, but I think I have some in the stash that were sent to me by Glue Troopers. But I started digging around, and I believe the first of their Pro-Modeler series was their Dornier Aero, the 335. And since I had just kit bashed one, I was thinking, well, that was a pretty good kit with the older pressing. So what actually made a Pro-Modeler kit a Pro-Modeler kit? Was it a new mold or what? And the Aero came out, I believe, in 1989. The rest of them started coming out in the 90s. And this was after, of course, the Revell Monogram merger. And I started looking at some of the kits and realized, well, okay, these are descendant of original Monogram kits. And the forums are saying, well, in some cases they just added new decals and some photo etch. But others are claiming that, no, they were actually entirely different kits, because some of them came from Dragon, a lot of them came from Hasegawa. So I think, oh, we're dealing with remarkets. But they would add photo etch, and I don't know if they ever came with any resin parts. I don't think so. I think it was mostly photo etch, better molds, and new decals. But the some of the kits, like the P39, according to what I read on the forums, were basically just the original kit that had been issued so many times. The latest molding, which was pretty good, with some photo etch and some new decals, and that's kind of what made it what it was. But some of the others were original molds that they had made, like the F86D. And I should add that although a lot of them were originally Dragon or Hasegawa kits, that the ones that Revell made really got very good ratings. Well, I say Revell. Monogram once it had taken the Revell moniker. In fact, at one point, I think in the late 90s, I believe the Pro-Modeler series were the only kits that were still carrying the Monogram logo. Two kits I heard particularly, or read particularly good things about, were the F86D and the Messerschmitt 410, which were both molds were new molds made by Monogram for this series. And they were some of the last ones they made, I think. I can't verify that. I also need to acknowledge that they did some Pro-Modeler series cars, although I have no idea what the difference versus the regular kits were. So if you guys have built a Pro-Modeler series, tell me what you thought of it. Maybe send a picture to maxsmodels@yahoo.com. I need to point out that one of the consistencies was the inconsistency. A lot of the comments in the forums were claiming that the models were, one Pro-Modeler series would just be the old kit with new decals and some photo etch, and then some of the later ones were entirely new. So apparently there was a range of, let's call them modifications. And I looked around, and I couldn't find a single coherent list of all of them, not even on ScaleMates. So it's just one of those things that it's more of a marketing thing than anything else, I think. I remember when they started doing this in 89, sales are really starting to decline. So I'm sure it was just a way of, what's a budget way that we could remarket the model. But overall, folks seemed to think that they were worth the money, and some felt they were a better deal than Tamiya just because you got a perfectly good kit for much less money. So what's your opinion? Have you built a Pro-Modeler kit? Well, guys, take care of yourselves. We'll talk at you later. And as always, model on.